Andy B here, still at the gathering in a field near Swindon with Christian Vision for Men. I've still got some people to talk to, which is wonderful. I'm joined now by a chap called Paul, who is slightly strong-armed into talking to me, but I think it's all fine. Hello, Paul. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm great. Thank you.
Just tell us a little bit about what you're doing with CVM across this weekend at the Gathering 24.
So I'm sort of coordinating, supervising the prayer ministry, the people who pray for the people who come forward.
For my mind, one of the most important parts of the entire thing, prayer, absolute. It's like the furnace, isn't it? For the fire, it's great. How long have you been coming to the Gathering?
I think it's probably about 10 years now. Yeah.
And you were saying that you were involved in CVM because this is a part that maybe people don't know. The Gathering is not the only thing that's supposed to be going on, because the Gathering is supposed to be fed into and fed from. Just tell us a little bit about some of the local CVM stuff that goes on around the country, which this is actually not necessarily, as you might imagine, but it's actually just a part of that.
Yeah, so I've always been interested in running, men's groups in churches. And one time at New Wine, I met up with Carl Beach, who was sort of talking about it in a seminar, and I got involved in that and sort of linked our men's group into CVM. I then was going to some of their conferences and coming to the gathering. I then started to do a little bit more and helping to coordinate with groups sort of locally around where I live. And so, CVM has got a sort of network of local groups that are focused on the mission in various different ways. And then they sort of come together at the gatherings. So there's lots of people that come here. And
so you've been coming for you said about a decade, wasn't it? Yeah. What have you seen change over the 10 years? Is it stayed the same, just got better, or is it, there's some change you can think, that was good?
I think the gathering is a unique event. I mean, it just goes from the sublimely ridiculous to the intensely holy, wonderful moments, and it's an astonishing gift. I think, I guess, in terms of prayer, what I would say has changed is what men come needing prayer for. Men have extraordinary stories of the things they're going through, and we get the privilege of praying with them and helping them in that. And I think what I'd say is I've noticed over the years that what we're praying for men is a lot more serious. There's a lot more stuff going on in their lives.
Which is why I think what you're doing with the prayer, it's central, it's core. And if you look at any ministry that works, I mean, not necessarily this is a ministry, this is a festival as part of a ministry, I suppose. But when you're looking at ministries that are successful, the one thing, whoever you talk to, is somewhere there is prayer that is absolutely integral. It's what there is, not bolted on, it's a core part. Yeah. So I'm so thrilled to talk to you, actually, because prayer, it's the thing that makes this work.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that over the years, that's something that I would testify to in what I've seen of the CVM leadership is that they are committed to evangelism, but they're committed to praying about it, and we take praying for it seriously, and we take taking care of the men who come forward to pray before prayer seriously as well. We organise it. Generally, it's quite chaotic, but underneath it, we've got it organised, and we sort of train people, and we want to make sure that for this 40, I mean, we can't be responsible people afterwards, but for this 48 hours, we want to make sure that everyone who's coming forward is treated with respect, is dealt with safely, and leaves us better than they came, and that we do everything safely and well. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the prayer, because it's one bit I knew of, and I think I've scratched the surface of some of the things. I can see things and think, I'm not going to get to do this year. How many guys have you got coming through for prayer over this weekend?
So, for instance, just now at the end of this main meeting, I reckon there probably were about 60 that came to the front, and then there are. It's hard to tell, but I would say about 40, 45, maybe 50 then came throughout to the prayer tent and were prayed with by guys and going through. Yeah.
Let's just say someone's listening thinking, well, I want to go for prayer, but what's all this thing about? And what have I got to do? Have I got to wear this, or what are you going to do to me? How would you just, get over that? Because it's an obstacle, isn't it, that people have, they don't know. It's an alien environment in a sense.
Yeah.
So what is it that actually people would expect when they come to the gathering, they come to the prayer area, they're going to meet you guys? What is it that you're going to do? What are they going to be seeing?
Well, the first thing is that we respect what they, and we listen first of all. So, and our guidelines say that we're not here to lecture people, to counsel people. So, in coming forward for prayer, our first question will be, well, what is it you're after, and will you formulate your own prayer first? And I'll listen to that, and then basically we say we will add our prayers to yours, and we will pray into what you've said. We'll try and listen to God, and if we feel we think, then gently and respectfully we'll say, I think God is saying this, and we will pray for people as long as they need it, but we're not here to counsel people. We're not here to lecture you and tell you what and we're very gentle in terms of saying, we think God might be saying this to you, but you need to weigh it. So it's very informal, it's respectful. We want to be kind and loving, at the base of it all. We're not going to beat you about and shout at you and so on or anything like that. We listen and we add our prayers to the person's prayer.
I love that you're not just praying for somebody, you're actually right from the get-go saying, okay, let's help you learn to pray, because I've been praying in churches. I'm 47. I've been in church basically my whole life. I've been in ministry. I know how to pray, but if you don't know, then you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So I love the fact that right from the outset you're saying, hey, let me help you work out how to pray, how to speak to God, because part of, I think, maybe the issue with Christians is God is not this thing in the distant, far thing that we can't reach or talk to. But unless you've actually had an encounter with Jesus Christ, then it's quite hard to know that you can talk to God. And I was chatting with somebody the other day. It doesn't matter how we talk at God, because he wants the communication rather than us getting it right.
Absolutely. And we get a lot of people that are fresh, new Christians and unchurched coming through. And you can find that there's quite a lot of, I don't know where they picked it up from, but they can get a lot of things about, I've got to do something for God, or God hates me, and, a lot of sort of randomly bad theology. And so our purpose is really to say, well, no, God is here to love you. He doesn't hate you. God is forgiving, he's compassionate, he's kind. And that's how we are in praying. We're saying, we will be, we're kind, we're compassionate, and we will listen, and we want to encourage you to encounter God and to meet with the Holy Spirit. And we're just here to try and facilitate that and guide you and add our prayers to your prayers.
And Paul, thank you so much. I'm sitting there crying, just the idea of you, because you're such a gentle guy, and I can feel your heart for these men who maybe have never spoken to God before, except in anger, and all of a sudden you're saying, do you know what? Let's help you learn to speak to him, because that changes everything. Paul, thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Did you know Pure 24/7 Radio has a shop? Well, we do. You can buy merchandise while supporting the work that we do here. Simply head over to www.pure247radio.org/shop. That's www.pure247radio.org/shop.